Let's talk some more of the big tech. Jeff Pierce joins us to take a look at Alphabet with the stock this morning down despite a price target hike. A little bit of love, but there's quite a few analysts out this morning. Stifel's brought it up to 225. Morgan Stanley's brought theirs to 215 from 205. And Wells Fargo up to 190 from 187. So what's going on here, Jeff?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the potential beneficiaries of a TikTok ban are actually down this morning, but we are seeing some love from the analysts. As you pointed out, Stifel raised that price target to 225, kept that buy rating. And a lot of that had to do with this potential ban. The firm now believes the Supreme Court is likely to uphold the law passed by Congress that would require ByteDance to divest or TikTok or face the ban. They said that there's still some hope that the company, as the President-elect Donald Trump has expressed his intention to aid TikTok in the matter, but they believe that the hearing is likely to change that dynamics if brands are starting to assume the status quo here. The firm expects that Meta and Alphabet are likely going to receive the majority of ad dollars. They estimate about 2 and 1% lift in their 2025 ad revenue. Separately, they said that their checks for the digital ad space suggest solid growth ahead of their initial forecast in Q4. As we look at this, potential ban, obviously that potential effect would go in January 19th unless the Supreme Court decides to overturn the ban or delay it. TikTok has said they plan to shut down in the U.S. unless they see the ban overturned. But they also believe that it's unconstitutional. And so far, we know TikTok has a huge user base, about 170 million, estimated 10.1 billion in U.S. ad money last year. Some estimates out of Benchmark have it at 12.8 billion for this year. And Benchmark also estimates about 80 to 90% of that revenue would go to Meta and Alphabet. So this would be a big deal for those two companies as we start to see this ad revenue disperse.
Wow. So it's really just about where the ad dollars are going, not necessarily if you've got a competing product, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we look at the popularity of TikTok, and I think that's important for why they're pushing so much of it to go to Meta and Google, right? TikTok's popularity rose, since they hit the App Store in 2018, a lot of that in 2020. Many of their rivals have already begun, adding short videos to compete. But it wasn't just the type of posting that was different. It was the fact that TikTok's, based their content on finding user preferences using that algorithm, where traditional social networking was just based on adding friends, following new users. The two competitors that seem to do this, replicate this model the best, has been Meta and also, Google's YouTube. That seems to be the most direct beneficiary. In fact, these platforms could become even better if we start to see users spend more time on them. The big question, I think, for a lot of investors out there are the politics of this. Even if the ban was to go into place, because supporters, of course, say the ban is a threat to national security, but we now have President-elect Trump kind of changing his stance, saying he wants to negotiate a resolution to save the platform, and Trump assumes office one day after this ban would take effect. So it could be very interesting. In terms of potential acquisition, I would say that's very much up in the air on what sort of U.S. company would acquire TikTok, but big names like Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle, those all make sense, and they're names that we're certainly hearing a lot about. That's something I don't think we'll have really figured out for quite some time, but we're going to watch the market react to it.
Okay. All right. Well, ad dollars are ad dollars. I guess they're going to find their homes somewhere, as we just know that there's going to be clicking, there's going to be scrolling. People are going to be looking for something. If it's not TikToks, then it's going to be somewhere else. So the advertisers, I guess, still get to eat from that pie regardless. Kind of interesting that they're all down. Some of those that I would think would be able to benefit, like a Snap, are down. Meta too. I think those are kind of obvious beneficiaries from like an entertainment standpoint, but I guess dollars are dollars when it comes to advertising, and Alphabet the most likely to kind of just suck up ad dollars in a vacuum, which makes sense still, as they are that behemoth. So appreciate the look there and the commentary. The analysts all getting a little bit more bullish this morning on Alphabet, and that's helping it outperform a little bit some of its Mag 7 peers. Thanks, Jeff Pierce.